begin with, this is the material that we guys will need to crochet this tote bag. So first you need to choose 4 color variations of yarn, and for me I chose it to be lightweighted, and it's very thin and light to work with. And then you will need 3.5mm hook, and then some scissors of course, and a darning needle. To start crocheting this tote bag, you will need 13 squares. Now it doesn't matter how many or which design you go with in the squares, as long as you have 13 of them. So you can go more than 2 designs. I chose to have 2 types of squares. Number 1 is the traditional granny square, and the second one is the spiral square. So in this tutorial I'm not gonna focus on how to do the squares, because I'm gonna link them down below, specifically the tutorials that I followed to make these squares. Okay, so I personally decided to go with 4 traditional granny squares in total, so each one of them will be based on the 4 color variations that we decided to go with in the first place. So now we have the purple, light pink, blue, and the light beige. So because I chose to go with 4 traditional granny squares, we will have to do 9 spiral squares in total, so we can finish our 13 squares. So 9 plus 4, that's 13. One more thing to mention before you move on to the tutorials is that I will provide you with a number of inputs of how many rows you need to do on each square, the granny square and the spiral square. So in the granny square you will need to do 5 rows in total, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And in the spiral square, okay, so whatever I'm gonna say right now, it might be a little bit confusing to you. Before moving on to the tutorial, just keep it in the back of your head, and you're gonna get it perfectly clear once you walk you step by step on how to do the spiral square. Okay, so in the tutorial that I provided down below in the description box is gonna end here at this point, but in our case we are going to increase 1 more row. So she's going to stop when she reaches 7 middle stitches of double crochets, but you are going to continue 1 more row to have 9 middle stitches. So just keep in your mind 9 middle stitches of double crochets in the middle. So just increase 1 more row. So pause here, go down the description box. I linked both tutorials that you will need to crochet the spiral square and the traditional granny square. After you have 13 in total, you will get back here so we can do our tote bag together. After you're done with your 13th square, now you are going to need your darning needle so we can stitch our loosened ends on every square that we have. So before that, I just want to show you on how I end whatever the color. Like for example, like I just want to snip it off. What I do is that I chain 1, pull through, and then I cut my yarn from here and then just pull it through and tighten it up. So that's how I end my colors or my row or whatever. So I'm gonna show you now on how I stitch my loosened ends. So what I do is that I insert my needle. Oops, sorry about that. So the way that I do it is that I insert my needle toward the direction of the same color that I'm stitching my loosened end with, and just pull it through. Whoop, okay. And then I'm gonna go and insert my needle into the opposite side. Take your needle out and then snip your loosened end. And for me, in the middle here, I basically joined the color while I was doing my stitches, so I don't need to stitch them up, so I'm just gonna cut them through. So I'm gonna meet you guys when you finish stitching up all of your loosened ends, and we are going to move on into joining our granny squares and spiral squares to form our tote bag. So see you guys there. So welcome back after you have your squares and everything is stitched and clean. So now we're going to lay out our granny squares in a specific order, so when we join them together it can take the shape that we want to form our tote bag, right? So we're going to start by laying 2 spiral squares facing each other through this corner, and then 3 in this specific order. So this side will meet this side, this middle granny square will meet both spiral squares from this side and this side, and then this one will meet this one from that side. So 2 and then 3 and then 2, 1, 2, 1, and then finally 2. So 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2. Again, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. To join our squares, I'm going to attach my yarn here at this point in the corners, and I'm going to do a continuous line of single crochets all along to join my squares, and then I'm going to stop here, turn. Again, you're going to stop here and then turn, turn, and then go all the way across. So I'm going to get my yarn ready and let's start joining our squares. As I told you guys, we are going to attach our yarn here, so I'm just gonna take it so I can show you. Okay, so we are going to insert our hook here and then take it through the other side, through here, and then insert your yarn, do a double knot, okay. So to start joining, you're going to do chain 1 and then grab every stitch and walk continuous line of single crochets. So insert from one side and through the other and do a single crochet. I'm gonna meet you guys back when you finish this side. So you're going to stop here when you reach here. So finish your line of single crochets all along and come back so we can join everything up together. Also make sure to not lose the layout while you're joining. So this is the first 2 squares that I joined together with a line of single crochets, and I pulled the loop because I'm not gonna cut it through, I'm just gonna continue all along. So these are the 2 squares that I'm gonna join them right now with my previous line of my single crochets. Also, the way that I'm gonna do it is that, again, I'm gonna insert from one side, take it through the other, and from the granny square I'm gonna insert here from the corner, so a single crochet. You're going to continue that till you end attaching the second squares together. One more point to mention is that the spiral square is slightly smaller than the granny square, so if you have to skip a little bit of stitches from the granny square, so basically we have a stitch here, right? But I'm just gonna ignore it and go through the space. So make sure that you are acting up based on the size that you have of the squares. Here we are going to join these two with our previous line of single crochets here. So just grab both of your granny squares and insert your hook from one side and pull it through the corner of the granny square and do a single crochet. And then again, you're just going to do a line of single crochets between one square through the other. At this point here, we are going to turn so we can join both of these squares on the specific side. So you're going to hold them like this, turn your work, and again you're going to insert your hook through the same space that we finished in the spiral square, and you're going to take it through the corner of the granny square. And as I told you guys, the granny square is slightly bigger than the spiral square, so make sure to skip some of the stitches of the granny square while joining. So I'm gonna meet you guys when you finish joining this particular two squares together. After joining these two squares together, now you are going to move on to attach these two squares with your line of single crochets that we did. So I'm just gonna turn, grab them along, and take my yarn and insert from one corner and through the other. And do your row of single crochet to join. I'm gonna meet you guys when you finish joining these two squares. So after finishing your line of single crochets to join here at these two squares, we are going to move on and join these two together. So now we're going to turn again. So grab your granny square through the corner and through the same stitch that we used in the previous single crochets, and again you're going to do single crochets all along to join. After finishing your line of single crochets to join for these two sides, we're going to move on and attach these two squares together. So grab it through one corner and through the same stitch from our previous single crochets and do a single crochet, and go ahead and do your line of single crochets to join, and I'm gonna meet you back after. Okay, so after you're done with your single crochets to join here, we are going to move on and join these two squares together, and we're going to work all the way across, but I'm gonna show you how to go from here till here, crossing over this single crochets to join that we already did there. So to do that, we are going to insert our hook through the corner of the granny square and then through the same stitch that we finished our single crochet in, and single crochet, and you're going to single crochet all across till you reach here, and then I'm gonna show you how to continue. So when you finish your single crochets to join here, you are going to face the line of single crochets to join that we did previously. So you're gonna jump through it by going through the same stitch that our previous single crochet line has been going into. So we're going to insert our hook here through the other side. So yeah, also the same stitch, and you're going to single crochet, and then you're going to continue your normal single crochets to join all across. Reaching to the other side, now we are going to turn again so we can join these two squares together. So we're going to single crochets to join all across. Again, we're going to jump through this previous line of single crochets, and we're going to attach these two squares together. So to start, we're going through the same stitch through the corner of the other square, single crochet all across till you reach to the end of both squares. We are going to jump through the previous line of single crochets to join by inserting our hook through the corner of one granny square, through the other corner of the granny square, and single crochet. And then you're just gonna continue your normal single crochet to join through both squares. So far, just to revise everything that we did since we started joining, so we attached our yarn here, we single crocheted all the way till here, we turned, and we kept single crocheting all the way till we reached here, right? So now we are left with these two to join. So as I showed you in the first place when I laid down my squares, we followed a specific order of having two that will join by the corner, and then 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, and 2. So we are left with these two. To start joining them, you will need to insert your hook through one corner here and another corner here and attach them like so. So let me just find the corners here. So find your corner and single crochet, and you're going to single crochet all the way across till you reach here. So when you finish attaching your last two, you are going to chain one, pull through, and cut your yarn. But now you will need to attach your yarn here at this point so you can join these squares all the way across, and then we're going to turn so we can join till we reach here. So now I'm gonna attach my yarn through the corner of the granny square, and whatever the stitch that might seem like it's the corner for you when it comes to the spiral square. Pull through and double knot. Insert your yarn again, chain 1, turn, and now you are going to attach both square together with a line of single crochets like we did before. Again, make sure that you skip some of the stitches when it comes for the granny squares, because they're relatively much larger than the spiral squares. When you finish attaching these two, you are going to meet the line that we did previously, so you are going to jump through it by inserting your hook through the same stitch and through the corner of the granny square, and you are going to do a line of single crochets to join. When we reach here, we will have to connect this corner with our granny square and continue our line of single crochets to join. So to do that, you are going to, okay, yeah, so you are going to insert your hook through the corner, like whatever the stitch that it might seem that it's the corner to you. So yep, I think it's here. And through the same corner of the granny square that we finished our previous single crochet with, so we're going to insert in the same corner and do a single crochet, and then you're going to continue your line of single crochets to join. When you finish your line of single crochets and you join these two corners together through the same corner of the granny square, now you're going to jump through the previous line of single crochets by inserting your hook through the same stitch that the line went through, as I showed you before, through both sides, and single crochet, and then again single crochet to join all the way across till you reach here. Okay, so now we have finished joining our squares together. So what are you going to do with your yarn is that you are going to chain 1, pull through, and cut your yarn and tighten it up. This is the layout that you will be having after joining every square together, and it's much clearer now. You can see the 2, 3, 2, 1, and then 2, 1, and finally 2. So what are we going to do? Okay, sorry about the noise, and I'm losing track of my thoughts. Okay, you see this one square here, the one square just right below the 2 squares. So this one square, we are going to hold it like this and fold our layout. After you fold it, just turn it, and what you can notice here is that we have 2 squares that is just hanging there, but we are going to use them to close our body of the tote bag. So you are going to flip them in half, and then we are going to attach our yarn here so we can join these two squares with a single crochet and then turn all the way, and then we're going to stop here and repeat the same thing on the other side. To attach our yarn, you are going to insert your hook through the single crochet line to join that we did. So just insert it here and then through the edge of the granny square, which is the corner. You're going to grab your yarn and then join. Do a double knot just to secure it. Insert your hook again and then chain one, and then do your row of single crochets to join. I'm gonna walk you step by step on this side so you can do it by yourself on the other side. So it's pretty much simple here. We're just joining both squares together. Now it's the time that we're going to join the square while folding it, and I would like to merge this previous single crochets to join with my current single crochets to join so it looks continued. So the way to do it is that you're going to insert your hook again through both corners and then insert your hook through the chain of the previous single crochet line that we did, and then pull through and do a single crochet. And then again you're going to insert your hook through the front corner. You're not going to insert it through the back corner, just the front corner, and then insert it through the square here while folding it. So single crochets, and then do your line of single crochets while folding the square. So here we are after having our line of single crochets between the front granny square and the spiral square while folding it. So reaching to the center, I want this line of single crochets to merge with this line of single crochets so it looks nice and clean when you finish up your back. So first you're going to insert your hook through this corner here of the granny square, and then you are going to insert your hook through the previous stitches of single crochets to join. Take your hook out and then do a single crochet. After merging our previous row of single crochets with the one that we're working on right now through this point here, we are going to continue our line of single crochets to join between these two spiral squares. So as I showed you guys, you're just going to insert through one stitch into the other and do your single crochets all along. And I'm gonna meet you guys back when you reach here. So reaching to the side, you are going to connect again our previous row of single crochets with the one that we're working on right now. So you're just going to insert it through the same stitch and through one of the chains that we worked our previous single crochets in, and then you're going to do single crochet and then chain one, pull your yarn, snip, oh, okay, snip it, pull through, tighten it up. Now you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you're going to attach your yarn at this point here, do your line of single crochets to join till you reach here. So then you're going to cut your yarn and tighten it up. Make sure along the way that you are connecting your previous line of single crochets with the one that you're going to attach, and feel free to rewind the video. And after you're done with this, we're going to start working on the straps. I have finished my other side and this is how it looks like, and this is the other side. I have a lot of loose ends, but no worries because we're going to stitch everything up later on. So now we're going to start with our straps by joining our yarn. I'm still going to use the light peach color, the same one that I used for my single crochets, and I'm going to attach it at any point here. So I have attached my yarn at this point here, and then you're going to pull up a loop, chain one. Chain one doesn't count as a stitch, so we're going to do a single crochet through the same stitch. Okay, hold on, yeah. So then we're going to place one single crochet through every stitch till we reach to the highest point of the corner. For me, I just measured it through my eyes because it's very hard to know, to be honest, in a spiral square which is the highest point. But if you want to count it, then feel free to do so. But for me, I just prefer to measure through my eyes. The point is, when we reach there, we are going to do something different. So continue your single crochets into every stitch till you reach to the highest point. Okay, I think the next stitch will be the highest point. So in the highest top corner, you are going to place 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and then 3. So we are going now to continue our normal single crochets into every stitch till we reach to the lowest point, which is here. We are going to sob and we are going to do something different as well. Okay, so when we reach to this point here, we are going to do something different. So you are going to go through here and pull up a loop. So we're going to do 3 single crochets together. So then you are going to measure which chain is the highest chain of the single crochets that we did previously, and you're going to insert your hook through it and pull up a loop, and then again you're going to insert through the next spiral square and pull up a loop, and then you're going to pull through all the loops that you have in your hook, and then you're going to continue your normal single crochets into every stitch till you reach to the highest point again, and then you're going to place 3 single crochets, and then again when you reach here you're going to place 3 single crochets together, and then you're going all along through the other side, and you're going to repeat the same thing all over again. Reaching to the other side where we started our row of single crochets, we are going to slip stitch into the first single crochet that we did, chain 1 and then turn. Now you're going to do the same thing for one more row, so 2 rows in total, but this time you're not going to do any single crochets together or 3 single crochets at the top point. You're just going to do 1 single crochet through every stitch till you reach here. Reaching our start of row 2, you are going to slip stitch into the first single crochet that you did in row 2. So insert your hook and do a slip stitch and then chain 1, turn, and then we are going to work on the straps in this row. So what are you going to do is that after turning you're going to do a row of single crochets till you reach to the top point of the spiral square. So you're just going to keep on doing your single crochets till you reach to the highest point. So when you reach your highest point of the spiral square, you are going to stop here and chain 80. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So chain 80 and I'm going to meet you guys back. When you finish your 80 chains, you are going to make sure that the row of single crochets is straight and it's not twisted. So you're going to track it out and then you're going to measure the highest point of the other spiral square and you're going to slip stitch. So insert your hook and slip stitch. And then you're going to continue your normal row of single crochets till you reach to the other side. So when you reach here, you're going to chain 80 again and you're going to attach it to this point here. So keep doing your single crochets till you reach to the highest point of the other spiral square. When you reach to the first stitch of single crochet that you did for the row, you're going to slip stitch, chain 1 and then turn. So now you are going to do a single crochet all around, starting from here, and then you are going to do your single crochets in your straps all the way to the other side, and you're going to continue your line of single crochets all across. So I'm gonna do my single crochets till I reach here, and then I'm gonna show you how I'm going to transition to the straps. Okay, so when you reach to the straps, you are going to do your single crochets on each chain. So starting from the first chain, do your single crochet till you finish all of the 80 chains, reaching to the other side. Completing your stitches of single crochets around the strap. So we started from here, we reached to the other side. We are going to work on the outer side. Just ignore the inner side right now because we're gonna work on it later on. Just attach your straps with the first single crochet in the previous row that you see, and then just keep going till you reach to the other strap, all the way till you reach to the beginning of the row, and then I'm gonna meet you guys here. Now I reached to the beginning of the row, and as you guys can see, I have both of my straps with one line of single crochets. So when we did our 80 chain for the straps and we went all over, we ignored the inner side. So now after we reach to the beginning of the row, you are going to slip stitch into the first single crochet in the row, and then we're going to end our row here. So chain one, pull through, cut your yarn, and tighten it up. So now we're going to attach our yarn in the inner side, so here, so we can go with rounds of single crochets and make our strap much thicker. So let me get my yarn ready and I'm gonna get back to you guys. Now grab your yarn and we're going to insert our hook into whatever stitch that you might think it's suitable for you. Doesn't matter because we're going to go all around. So tighten it up with a double knot. If you have any other method to join, then feel free to use it. I just prefer the double knot to join my yarn. So you're going to insert your hook, chain one, and as we did before, we're going to do a single crochet all around. So normal single crochets into every stitch all around. And when we reach to the straps, we are going to single crochet on the other side. When I reach here, I'm gonna show you how to do it. So I reach to my straps and I am going to single crochet here, and then you're going to single crochet on the other side. So here, under every stitch of single crochet, you are going to do a single crochet on the opposite side. So keep going with your single crochets till you reach to the other side, and I'm going to meet you guys here where we started. When you reach to the beginning of the row, you are going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet that we did, chain 1 and cut your yarn. And now you are going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So insert your yarn into whatever stitch you might think that you like, and then we are going to chain 1 and repeat the same thing that we did on the other side. So single crochet is all around to the straps till you reach to the beginning of the row, and then you're going to slip stitch and cut your yarn. Okay, just because this side is the right side, because I just love the texture of the single crochets to join that we did, I am going to weave in my ends through the other side. So just insert your loosen end and bring it through to the other side. And then now you can weave in your ends through the other side. Cut your yarn, and now you're going to repeat into every loosened end that you have. After weaving in your ends, you are finally done with your tote bag. I had a great time crocheting this tote bag. I hope that you did too. Make sure to follow me on my social media accounts. I'm going to link them down there in the description box. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section, and if you have any question, I will gladly answer them. So see you guys very much soon, and make sure to subscribe to get to be the first to view any future tutorials. Thank you so much, and bye bye.